This week we really are scaling new heights.
I'm in Eastbourne, or rather above Eastbourne. Down there, crowds are gathering for the International Air Show. Welcome to Songs of Praise.
On today's programme, it's up, up and away at Eastbourne's Air Show. I meet the 95-year-old veteran who found faith on the perilous bombing raids of World War II.
And I cast my eyes to the right, and there's my cockpit spinning to earth empty.
I meet the RAF pilot who swapped the cockpit for the pulpit. And there's a very special performance from Catherine Jenkins. The Eastbourne International Air Show is one of the biggest seafront air displays in the world. Alongside the Red Arrows, the Blades aerobatic team are one of the headline acts. And I've been taken on a special flight before their display with former Red Arrows pilot Kirsty Murphy. As well as entertaining huge crowds at air shows across Europe, the Blades also raise money for charity. More on that when I get my feet back on the ground.
Our music today comes from the famous Eastbourne bandstand. I can just make it out down there. It's going to be led by local worship leader Lou Fellingham, and we begin with To God Be the Glory.
Praise the Lord.
got to say, that was one of the greatest experiences ever. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
One of the charities the Blades support is the RAF Benevolent Fund. 95-year-old veteran George Wood has his residential care supported by the fund. And today, he's here rekindling his passion for aviation.
This is George, and he started flying a long time before I did.
Yeah, 41.
I've just been up now. It was brilliant.
You can't beat it. There's no sensation like it.
Absolutely.
What aircraft did you fly then, George?
Western Whirlwind, do you know it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Your first solo, you'll never forget. And it's all yours.
I still remember my first solo.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll never forget
No,
it.
well, George, I need to go flying and get ready for my flying display this afternoon.
I nearly said you lucky so-and-so.
George has never lost his love of aircraft, but one of his expeditions was very nearly fatal. On a bombing raid back in 1943, a mid-air explosion sent his plane plummeting to Earth, with George unable to free himself from the cockpit.
I was trapped. I've suddenly decided that there's a person called God. And I thought, well, as a last resort, I'll call on him.
So what did you say?
Oh, God help me. And he did. Unbelievable. It was. I'm sitting in the prone position and I cast my eyes to the right and there's my cockpit spinning to Earth empty. The hood hadn't even been undone.
Believing he'd been miraculously freed from his cockpit, George deployed his parachute and landed safely. The experience changed his life, and soon after the war he gave his life to God. But he was a very reluctant recruit to the clergy.
I didn't want to go into the ministry. Couldn't sing, hadn't read my Bible. I was the last person you think should be God material.
But yet you were.
Well, it looks like it. After 60 years.
Yeah. In those 60 years, George served as a priest in Africa and England, and even until recently in his care home. To this day, people are inspired by his story.